Welcome to Romance Unzipped, your happily ever after book club. I'm Holly.
And I'm Annie. We read, write, and obsess about all things romance.
Let's dive in.
Hello, I'm Annie.
I'm Holly.
Today we read Paper Heart by Grace McGinty.
This is the first book I've read of hers.
Yeah, ditto.
And this was a polyamorous romance.
Yeah, I guess not even reverse harem, right? Polyamorous, because they had intertwined relationships. Oh, yeah.
And this takes place in LA.
Big city.
But she comes from, Blake, the main female, she comes from a small town.
Yeah, small town girl in the big city. That's one of the tropes, is this kind of like ingenue, naive girl thrust into the big bad city world, but quickly finding her footing. It's contemporary, it's Blake, and then the four suitors.
The four boys, three of them are sex workers on a fictional version of OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's called Click Heart.
And then one of them is, he met the group in a different way. He inherited a pretzel and sausage, wiener truck from his grandfather, and he's turned it into a, I think, pretty successful, booming food truck business.
Yeah, he just dishes out that sausage.
There are a lot of jokes about hot dogs and wieners and sausage.
Yeah, it is rife with like base humor in the best way.
Yes,
she's good at it.
She is very good at it. It's like a adult, kind of more grown-up, sophisticated version of like a 14-year-old boy's sense of humor.
Yeah, it's like Bridesmaids.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I was laughing out loud through a lot of it.
Yeah, it's like raunchy humor, but for women, by a woman. So it's very cheeky, but not like dude bro, but it's for girls. So, yeah, but there are well done sausage puns, which I was like, I don't know how anyone could make it new and fresh, but she pulled it off.
I always like puns and wordplay. So I'm down for that, even if it is of the sausage variety. I can handle that.
And the other trope, I guess, is like the crazy ex. Is that a trope?
I feel like it's usually a crazy ex-girlfriend, and that's probably just misogyny working its way into the plots of books. But this is a crazy ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
He doesn't have really much of a role, and he's just mentioned in her backstory until all of a sudden, 3/4 of the way through the book, he's the pivotal point in everything that's happening to them, and he's definitely the villain.
So the characters, really quick, the main character is Blake, and she's 22. She is self-described and also through, it's multiple points of view. So it's all five of the players. Primarily it's Blake, but then you get the men peppered in. And it was interesting because I listened to some of it on audio, and it was fascinating because it would be Blake's point of view chapter, and so it would be the female narrator. And then the male narrators would come in when the men were in her point of view, so speaking their parts.
Just in the dialogue, or even?
Just in the dialogue.
Oh, interesting.
I've never heard that before. Okay. So it was almost like a play, kind of.
Very sophisticated.
I was like, wow, this is, and I feel like she had more than one male voice actor reading it, but maybe it was just someone who was really good at different voices. But I was like, God, it's kind of a small fortune to have that many voice talenters.
Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe I was missing out just reading it.
It was different. I was like, who's there? So
okay, what else?
So she's curvy, self-described, and by the guys. She never, no one ever describes her skin tone or color. The only time that she references it in any way is she makes a joke about like she has permission to get white girl wasted. She's got brown hair and I think brown eyes. Not 100% sure.
They didn't describe her features much, although her curves got described a fair bit because that was an insecurity of hers.
Yeah, her curves were described in so many ways, but never.
She described herself in the beginning of the book. She said, I'm just chunky enough that I were to pass out unconscious, it would be very difficult for a man to carry me somewhere.
And true to form, all the men in different points of the book carry her.
Yes, and I don't think they had a difficult time. Not physically, and they certainly did not do it begrudgingly.
Yeah, they liked it.
It was like when the wolf tongue comes out in the cartoon, like, oh. Yeah, that was every time they saw her, that's what they were doing.
So then there's four characters. So first one we meet is Heinrich, Henny, which is kind of a hilarious nickname. And he's the one that has the sausage food truck, and she loves his wieners, so she eats them twice a day or something. And he's the only friend she has in the big bad city, and he's like his German parents. He's tall, blonde, sounds kind of like clean cut, muscular, hunky, attractive.
Yeah, he's a god in terms of his physique and Adonis type figure.
Yeah, this is a romance novel. And then she goes and answers the ad. That's part of the plot, but we'll just do quick character description. So one of them is Everett. He's like the brooding, tortured soul, also a chef, hand in hand. Tattoos, pale skin, dark hair, whiskey eyes, and a groomed dark beard. Muscular.
Of course. And then Harrison is kind of the more brains of the operation of the three that live in the house. And she doesn't realize this right away, but Harrison and Everett are boyfriends, but they are not monogamous with each other. And they describe how they only go outside of their relationship with women, not with other men. And he seems like he looks a lot like Henny.
Yeah,
he's also blonde.
Maybe more like the laid back California.
He's also muscular, incredibly handsome, tall.
Yeah.
Blue eyes, hardship for her. And then the last in that house is Darwin, and he's from Ecuador.
He's 5'11". He has, quote, beautiful gold skin and brown eyes, brown hair, and a massive
monster dick.
dong. Like, notably humongous. So they're all well endowed, not surprisingly, but he has this, like, ridiculous dick that all he does is get paid to stroke it.
So the way that Blake meets these three is whatever the young people do these days, put out an ad in the classifieds.
I guess what is probably that? Not Craigslist.
Yeah, what does that equal today? She's looking for a job, and they need somebody to be their social media
in-house
editor,
content creator,
come up with their branding, and they say, oh yeah, it's room and board included. We're going to need you to live here because this is such a big deal.
Yeah, but they don't describe it. So she's desperate. She's been scammed. She left the small town. No one believed in her. She got tricked into spending all her money at the school that doesn't exist. P.S. There's a place in San Francisco like that. Read the story. It's pretty interesting.
Art schools.
Kind of Be careful. But so she's there, and she doesn't want to go back home to her like shitty ex-boyfriend and her mean parents and her friends who just nag her. And so she's going to find a way, but she never gets any jobs. And she gets this like 3-sentence ad, and it's like, graphic designer needed, room and board provided, And she's like, well, I'm either going to be abducted or I'll get a job. And Henny's like, no, go.
Don't go.
Because he loves her already.
So she shows up at the house, and I really kind of liked this small plot device. The reason they said, okay, sure, you can interview, come on over, is because her name is Blake, which is a gender ambiguous name, and they thought she was a man. And they have this plan that they're only going to let a man work there to have less sexual tension, although 2 of them are in a man-man relationship with each other. So I'm not sure how much that's helping. But that was the setup of the book. And when she shows up for the job interview, they don't even expect her because they're looking
like,
for this
sorry,
man named Blake.
You can't come in. And she has this tantrum because also secret sassy side. And she's really funny. She's funny.
She is funny. All the characters had pretty enjoyable points of view, just the way they narrated their chapters, but hers were the best.
Yeah, she was like cheeky and funny and a little self-deprecating, but not terribly so, and then very sex-minded. Like, she just was like, and so she walks in this house. They live in a Beverly Hills mansion. So she's like, what is...
They have an underground garage.
Oh, yeah. It's like all
art
this...
studio out back.
All this stuff. So, turns out, Everett is a naked chef, and, like, he cooks naked and talks sensually to the camera with a little...
But when he turns around, you see his butt.
And so, people love him. And then Harrison.
Harrison is a naked potter. He's at his pottery wheel making...
Sensually.
I feel like a lot of the things he made were like, dick-shaped. Yeah, he like tall vases and things like that.
Do not insert.
Yeah, he had a sticker that he would put in his shop when he was boxing up his wares to send off, and it said, not for internal use. Or...
There's a reason they don't make sex toys out of ceramics, guys.
Yeah. And then the third one, Darwin... He just
use what is
he just strokes
genetics
it. That's pretty much all he does.
Yeah, and he is this effervescent, joyful person, and also has this rapturous come face. And so, and he never wears a shirt, so he hangs around all the time with his beautiful golden body and dick print. And so she's just salivating, and she says, yes. And what a great device, right? To like put everyone together, the forced proximity, the tension, like it's a really fun idea for writing a story.
And she's having to always look at videos and pictures of them naked so that she can fix the lighting and come up with their font and their brand and all of these.
Make stills of
trying
Darwin's
to be
face.
professional because her career is important to her, and she's trying to save face after being scammed out of art school and convince herself and others that this is her job and this is her calling and she's good at it. But then it's just a bunch of naked guys.
Yeah. And she also is really good at it.
She is really good. One of the ways of like fantasy in this book and escapism is the way she is so sought after and appreciated by these men for her work talent.
I know, they're like, you're incredible.
They'll just come into a room.
Yeah, every day they compliment her.
This is so good. How did you do this? Amazing.
You're so creative. Oh my gosh. I'm like, they want her in every way. And then there's these points of view into their head, and they're like, she makes me laugh. She's funny. She's smart. She brings joy in the house. I'm like, wow, this is a really good fantasy book.
She found the right fit.
Holly, what was the spice level?
I thought it would be higher given that it was a polyamorous book and there were so many different love interests.
And they were all sex workers.
And they were sex workers. I think the spice was somewhere in the 3 to 4 range. There was no sex in the first half of the book, and then I think there were 5 sex scenes in the second half, but they weren't particularly long or even that detailed in like an erotic way. It was kept with the tone of the book where there was a lot of sexy thinking and talking, but it was kind of casual and almost cheeky and not really
erotic.
Right. So I would probably call it maybe a 3 on the frequency and 4 on the spice level, but not the kind of thing where I was blushing on public transit.
No, yeah, it wasn't a physical, like I wasn't like, but the book is so, it's just like playful.
It is. It's like a romp. I was laughing out loud quite a bit.
Okay, so here's an example. She's making out with one guy and another guy knocks on the door, and she said Darwin was standing in the doorway. His eyes wandered over our compromising position, his smile crooked, almost longing. Maybe I was just seeing desire everywhere now, wanting to taste every guy who even showed a little interest. It was like I was hoarding men. I was basically a dick dragon. So she just has these great internal jokes that were, I loved.
It was really funny, and it worked so well with the tone of the book. And really, I'm talking about the first half of the book. This whole premise is absurd, that she follows this ad and she goes to a house and she's just a live-in editor for 3 sex workers.
It's like kind of a reverse Pretty Woman, because they're like sex workers with a heart of gold who just want to find love. They're tired of the game. They've fucked every easy lay out there.
They're super rich.
They're tired of perfection and this like airbrushed image. They just want a real girl. So it's like, yeah, it's this kind of, it's a fairy tale.
It does have fairy tale vibes. There are 2 different, one that she goes to and one that Darwin goes to separately, balls in essence, where it's
and not a balls.
Yeah, no, not that kind of ball.
Like a Cinderella ball.
Yeah, like a party. There's a awards, it sounds like the Oscars, but for the adult sex industry. And then there's also the Met Gala.
Yeah. And she gets, Darwin's twin sister happens to be this super famous supermodel she doesn't realize, and comes and whisks her away for like the dream makeover.
An outfit that fits perfectly on her body, everything you could imagine.
And like the shop girl at one of the fancy brands talks shit to her because she's curvy, and so Danny, the twin sister, does the like Pretty Woman thing
big mistake.
on her. Big mistake. It outs her on social media, and then the whole internet like drops this brand because she fat shamed Blake, and so then they take her to this vintage shop and find her this beautiful gown, and yeah, she gets the dream makeover, bippity boppity boop.
I was thinking of you because while she was looking for this vintage gown, they made a Jessica Rabbit reference. I thought, oh, Annie gets to read that. I don't know where you are in the book right now, but somewhere out there, you're enjoying Jessica Rabbit But I think they said she looked like Marilyn Monroe and just had this almost like throwback look and physique to her that was just so alluring.
Yeah.
But she was insecure about it, and we find out later it's because her dickbag ex-boyfriend was calling her fat and basically telling her that she didn't deserve things and killing her self-esteem.
Yeah, he was doing the classic emotional manipulation, break her down so I'm the only one that can build her up.
Yes.
So we'll get to Paul later. He is, as you said, a dickbag. So she has these amazing experiences. Like, none of it is realistic. They all love her. They all want to do anything to keep her happy. They love the sound of her laugh. They like her when she doesn't brush her teeth. They think her pajamas are cute, like her scruffy little pajamas.
So that works in the book, especially in the first half, because the tone of the book is just as over-the-top absurd. And it's just ridiculous meeting ridiculous. So you know what you're getting as a reader, and you can just lean into it.
Yeah, and it's also well written. Like, it's funny.
It is well written.
It's just this, like, kind of like punchline after punchline. You're just rolling through it. And then the second half comes, and you're like, whoa!
There was a bit of a record scratch for me, because, okay, so I love, when I'm reading books, the setting, the world building, just hearing about everything that's going on before the plot gets started. I can take like a half of a book just with that. But at a certain point, some kind of action does need to happen.
Yeah.
Like we all get there eventually. And Grace McGinty had to do that. She had to bring in some plot. And once she did, I just feel like the book got a little less entertaining for me.
She raided the house with plot.
Yes, it was intense. Because all the parts of the book that I found so enjoyable were the way it didn't take itself seriously and the way it was so playful. And it was sexy. There was sex talk all the time, but it was very funny and playful.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, it almost got traumatic. Somebody, we don't know who, it was Paul, the ex-boyfriend, swatted them and called the police and said, these people are running a terrorist organization and they're making bombs. So the police showed up, guns drawn, dragged them out of the house, took them to jail, confiscated all their electronics, ransacked their house. The whole place looks like it's been robbed. All the drawers are turned upside down. And doxed them online, so now everybody knows. They were known by their handles on this Click Heart.
Yep. So dox is DOXXED, and it's a term for when you unveil someone's identity. So it's like, here's their address, here's their phone number, here's their parents.
And this is their real name.
These are their real names, which is always dangerous, but especially if someone is a sex worker and has potentially kind of rabid fans.
Right. So they had to find a lawyer and get out of jail, first of all, but then move. And none of them could do their job and bring in money and everything that they're doing in their career without their electronics, which have been taken away, and their workspace, like their pottery wheel that they can sit at naked. So it was a big...
Yeah, you go down to the rec center.
Excuse me. It's like when you see people at the gym recording themselves and other people are just kind of looking. This guy... He puts on a little apron so he doesn't get any kind of friction burns or whatever happens in a wheel. I don't know.
Sir, this is a park grill.
You can't do that at the YMCA. So that is a major inciting event for everything that comes next in the book. But she's got legitimate trauma from it. She's crying. She had a gun in her face. She's so worried about it. And I was laughing out loud reading about Henny and his wiener wagon and enjoying myself, and then all of a sudden she's got a puffy face from crying. And I was like, okay, this isn't the direction I was wanting to go with my late night humor read. So that part was less successful for me as a reader, but I completely recognized that you had to have some kind of plot come into the book.
Yeah, and it went high octane.
It really
quick.
did.
I mean, I was like, where's it going to go? Because it also kept going new places. One thing that was smart is she had no one to pick her up because the boys are still in jail. She doesn't have anyone because her family sucks and she's there all alone. And her only friend is Henny, who she tried to date, but the boys had quickly smashed because they're jealous and they wanted her. So she calls him and they've been, and she's crying and I have no one else to call. And of course he's like,
I'll be right there. I'm already on my way out the door.
I love you, princess. So he comes to rescue her, and then it turns into this device for the boys don't have anywhere to go that no one knows about. So everyone moves in to Henny's suburban tract ranch house, and it's the like push, it's like the plot thrust to bring him into the polyamory fold.
Yep, and it's an even escalation of the forced proximity that they already had.
Yeah,
they were in a mansion, she had her own room, now they're all on top of each other, quite literally.
Quite literally. And so it is great because everyone's also like, love for Blake is just getting bubbling to the surface. They can't keep it in. Everyone wants her. They're all recognizing, the three boys are like, we can't have her alone. And so Darwin, who's been playing it cool, is like, I can't hold it in any longer. And so he does what anybody would do. He makes a PowerPoint presentation.
We've all been there. A PowerPoint presentation that he sits them all down
polyamory.
And it's why we should all date Blake.
Yes.
Blake deserves 4 boyfriends. She needs people to take care of her. That way, if one of us doesn't have the time or isn't available, she's got someone else that can swoop in and take care of her
busy.
needs.
Do you really want this woman to not get everything she deserves? And there's like a picture of her she's never seen, looking thoughtful and darling by the pool, and she's touched, and they're all like, well, yes, this is great. He makes a compelling case.
Yeah, they all were skeptical at the start of the chapter, and then by the end, they're all like, yeah, we're in.
We're in.
Now, Darwin did suggest a 1-week trial period, so it was very reasonable.
Ah, it was. I think everyone goes into polyamory with this.
With a 1-week approach.
And that's when they were going to have, because of course they're kabillionaires, so they have already found a house and they are going to be able to move in a week. So they have this time frame of being in Henny's house for a week to test it. So it just really lines up pretty perfectly. And they get to incubate because they can't really work because all their stuff's in like array.
Limbo with the FBI.
So they get to nurture their love.
Yeah, it became a fantasy, as you're describing, so almost saccharine sweet in the way that they were just needing to take care of Blake, and their professing of everything they loved about her. And mostly I think I saw this when it was their point of view and they were thinking in their own head.
They would think it.
But they were also saying things out loud to her.
Yeah, but it was like a fairy tale prince and like the birds around his head.
When she walks in the room, they can hear like chirping. That also, it just didn't do it for me in the same way because it didn't feel as lighthearted and casual and like they were making fun of themselves. It was more like, oh wow, he's really in deep. That's all he cares about now.
It's a simp.
Yes. So, but good for her. She got what she needed.
She got a lot of what she needed. And surprisingly less on screen or like on page than you would think. So a lot of it is emotional connection. And then the second half of the book, a lot of it is like plot action. So there's like the SWAT, the moving house, finding a new house, talking about security breach. Paul comes into the picture. All his shenanigans come to the fore.
Yep. One part that surprised me again, her parents just show up from Georgia, and she's surprised. And they have brought police officers with them, and the police say, oh, somebody here told me that you've been kidnapped and you're held against your will. And they're standing down on the sidewalk screaming like, oh, come home, Blake. And she says, no, I'm here of my own volition. I'm an adult. This is my choice. And then like the very next sentence, her parents from the sidewalk, they're like, you're a worthless whore. It's like, oh, wow. And that's kind of the whole scene. They just yell at her a few times about how dare you do this. And she's both sad, but also has this righteous anger. And all the boys are like, oh, how dare you hurt Blake.
Yeah, Everett has to be held back.
Yes.
He's the broody, of course, chef.
And then she says, I'm never going to see you again. My parents are dead to me. And closes the door. And that felt like a major escalation of the emotional baggage that I was prepared to carry for this book.
That's really funny because I was kind of just like zipping through and I didn't, until you just said it, I didn't register like, that is a massive event in one's life. And also the, like you said, this like 0 to 60 of like, she needs saving, you whore.
It was worthless whore that really got me.
Closed door.
Yep.
End scene.
Then she's done. That's it. And then all the boys are so upset because for 24 hours, she went to her room, she shut the door when they would knock on it and be like, oh, baby, sweetie, you have to eat. Let me give you a hug. Her face was puffy from crying. It got real.
Yeah, and then she's fine.
Because Darwin had shower sex with her. And
classic. It's like a reset.
Yeah. And the boys, it wasn't just the sex. They wanted to hug her and nurture her. Every time in the morning when she would wake up, Everett would already have her coffee ready. And as soon as she'd walk into the kitchen, he would hand it to her. And he recognized what her favorite chocolate was. And it was just always stocked. He'd make her cookies. And she's thinking to herself, oh, even when I thought he didn't like me, he was really paying attention to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you like the escapism of just imagine everything you ever wanted is at your fingertips because other people are paying attention to you and nurturing you in such a way that they are making that happen, and you just have to like sit there and say, yes, bring it here. This book would be a great read.
Yeah. And it's funny and cheeky, and it's sexy. Like the first whole half of the book felt sexy, but in like a flirty way. It felt flirty.
That's a good way to say it. It's a flirty book, not an erotic book.
It's not erotic.
It is very flirty. Even their own internal monologue is almost like flirtatious with themselves. It's just the tone of the whole book.
Yeah, it's fun. It's glossy, or not like you're in a convertible, the wind's blowing, Lisa Frank's sun is shining down on you.
Yeah, I think LA was a great setting because there are a lot of things work well together. The tone of the book and their profession and the setting, they all come together, especially in the first half, like I said, where it's world building.
Yeah.
I think she knocked that out of the park. The plot part was not as fun for me, but I will say I've never seen swatting as a plot device.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, I've heard of it just in the sense that...
I mean, I knew people that happened, but I didn't know people did it as like a
purpose?
punitive, like, as is like, you used to just call and have pizzas delivered.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, what happened? But there were quite a few plot devices like that were new, and I always appreciate seeing something that I haven't thought of before.
I liked there's like Nyla Kay has a book about cam boys. I feel like there's some like really fun kind of cam boy themes, but I really like Nyla Kay's, but it's called like, I can't even remember the name of it, but check it out, it's good. But I hadn't read before that, but this is even more so of this kind of treating, like taking a lot of the heat out of the idea of sex work, and that it's not so like these kind of big extremes people have of what it is or what it isn't. Like brings it into this realm that maybe more people would feel like they could wrap their head around, of like a hot guy who's cooking naked, you know, and like, oh, that's actually sex work, you know, or like this hot guy potting, or well, this guy's just masturbating. But like this whole, I don't know, all these shades of gray that are in this really big world. So that part was interesting. And then it also, they have a whole like income stream where they game online in what's called Kill Switch, which I'd like vaguely recognize this name, but basically people pay to watch other people play online world video games, which...
Also unaware of...
I didn't know about.
That corner of the internet.
Yeah, but she makes this really great joke about most of the people who are on there are like people with rage issues who can't get laid, so they're all mad at the boys because the boys get paid to like stroke their dick. But everybody in the book, their life revolves around being online. Like,
yes.
Everything is graphic design, sexuality, gaming. That's it.
But Grace McGinty does a pretty good job of making these full-bodied characters because they have a lot of interest and depth of their personality that's separate from the sex work and separate from
well, it doesn't
profession.
like take place online.
Right.
It's all in person, but just the concept of their whole business world and career identities are in this
virtual
space. So you guys, internet, look it up. It's a thing. It's going to be big.
Yeah, it might stick around.
Invest in the internet if you...
Yeah, honestly, at this point, it's on its way down. We're on the back of that wave. I don't know what's next, but I hope it's...
I think word processors.
Yeah, maybe some typewriters. Bring those back. I was just reading how young people are really embracing analog technology, and I don't think in an ironic way, but there's too much time spent on screen. I want to get a flip phone. I want to get just a camera that's not attached to my phone. CD collecting is becoming a thing, and some of the bigger names in music are putting out CDs now, which I was so upset when they stopped putting out CDs, and now it's come back around again. I just needed to be patient.
I have 2 like body-sized duffel bags full of cassettes, so I had to search like a couple years ago to find a boombox that played cassettes. So
Where
I feel like
are these
my
body
time
bags?
is going to come.
It's coming.
They are
Just in a closet somewhere?
Okay. And I actually took a bunch of pictures. My neighbor has a like art space, and I laid them all out, and I got this really tall ladder, and I took these aerial photos of them because they're amazing. It's like from 6th grade on. I'm late 40s, and when people like wrote the name and they like did all the notes on the.
How fun! Wait, when you say when people, do you mean you?
Me, but also like people, like friends. You give them to each other, and it's just like I have them. They're like pieces of the story of my life.
Yeah, they're artifacts.
They're artifacts.
That's very cool.
I know. I love it. So, yes, analog, and maybe they'll bring back telephone operators. I don't know. You can call and order people fake pizzas pretty soon.
Great. Or in the meantime, apparently you can swap people.
Don't.
Yeah, let's not do that. I learned from this book it's a federal offense.
And it's pretty mean and also terrifying. So just go on OnlyFans and find somebody to follow if you need an outlet. Okay, so how does it all, what's our happy ever after?
Like all books, in the epilogue, they get married and have a baby. No, I'm just kidding.
JK.
It's just her pegging him online. She's got a Mickey Mouse mask on, and they're very clear that way her identity is obscured, but her mouth is still open, ready for business. And she's just got a strap on, and she pegs him, and that makes him be the number one. He becomes the number one subscriber, or he hits the most subscribers of anyone on ClickHeart.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is Darwin.
This is Darwin, yes.
And it was a beautiful tie-in because when he first meets her, he makes a joke about needing to be pegged.
Yeah, I don't think when I read it I was thinking beautiful tie-in, but you're right. It is, the literary techniques involved are very impressive.
Of life.
But it was only, couldn't have been more than a month later, and it was just a straight up like she's reaching for the lube kind of scene. So that it surprised me, but also it was in line with the book, and it just kind of made me chuckle. I was like, okay, I guess this is what I was in for with this ride of a book.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun, like, wink wink to the tone of the book.
Yes.
And it's not like, oh, and then we got married and we moved to the burbs.
There's none of that.
And then I ended up pegging him online for money. So thank you for joining us. If you need a fun, light, goofy read, a little bit, be prepared that there's some wild drama in the middle, and then it ends on a happy note. And we're so glad that you joined us. We are Romance Unzipped.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.